I'm making this new video because there's something very important about rewriting the narrative. There are 3 ways you can rewrite the narrative, and of course the reasons why you want to do it are to feel better about your internal story, about what has happened. If this is your career or anything in the past that affects you and you keep looping about it, or you believe it will be more supportive, more empowering if you change the way you think about what has happened, then you're using rewriting of the narrative. Narrative is basically the story we tell ourselves. Why rewriting of narrative is so powerful? It's because we might be doing censorship of what we say and we edit on the fly as we express ourselves in front of somebody else. If we talk to a friend, to a partner, to anyone explaining what has happened in the past, we already put certain filtering on that. We try to frame the story in a certain way. We try to maybe not to sound too pessimistic, or we basically mingle with it. Editing on the fly is very different from mindful director's cut. And these techniques I'm going to share with you are actually director's cut methods for you to actually rewrite your narrative. The narrative that you want to capture, and it doesn't matter if you do it as an audio recording, which you will edit later, or if you do it in visual way with video that you're making of yourself as you're telling the story, or if you're writing things down and send later to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to do the editing for you and pick the most empowering, positive aspects of what you shared. So it's already pre-edited later on, and then you edit that. It's up to you which way you go for. The process starts from you sharing everything that you want to say on the subject without editing yourself. Nobody's listening to that. Nobody's overhearing you. You are making this recording for yourself, if this is audio, video, or typing. And that is why you can feel comfortable. You can just share everything that you felt, what you thought, what you've learned. Remember to include the good things, the stuff that it's positive and it's already empowering, even though it's like 5% of the story and 95 might be a rant. It doesn't matter what the 95 is. The 5% that is positive, uplifting is something that most likely you're going to leave later after editing. So the point is, tell it all as it is. Use your imagination, relive the event, put everything out there, no editing, no censorship. And then with that file, if this is audio, video, or writing, give yourself some time to calm down, to feel good, to have a break. It might be a day, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, not more than 3 weeks, because you want to have the momentum. You started the process, you want to continue the process. The process is bring the narrative up to the surface so you actually know what's running in the background. You're living according to that, so you better become aware of what the narrative you're living. And then give yourself a break, give yourself time to reconnect to good mood, to your resourcefulness, problem solving, creativity, feel uplifted again, read something nice, watch some videos of funny cats and dogs, whatever serves you. And then when you sit down to edit, you should feel already like an editor, like a director. You're doing the cuts in your own stories, but you should be dissociated enough to look at it from different perspective. What is there for me that I should keep? Which parts make sense and I want to re-listen? I want to imagine that the output is actually the narrative that I want to have in my mind and live according to that. With that in your mind, when you edit, you're leaving the most positive parts, your learnings, what you're grateful for, what it did for you, what changes happen, how is life better because of this and this and this. Perhaps you mention something like it. Even though, as I said, 95% might be something that you want to cut out, leave the 5%, and that will be your new narrative. When you're making your narrative, make sure that you're stating things objectively as well, so that it's easy to leave that neutral tone. It was that date, this is what happened afterwards, this and this happened, because it gives you context. You don't want to end up with the edited narrative that you don't even know what this is about. So make sure that you are telling the story as if you were tell to someone, but because nobody's hearing, put everything out there, and only during editing process you will be removing the things you don't want. So how are you going to do it? If this is audio, you use recorder of audio on your phone, or you are opening a software on your laptop, on your computer, that records directly in that app, in that software. The software is called Audacity, and it's for free. It's just example what I do recommend because I use it. I use it even to make this video. So it's something I'm very familiar with, and it's very, very simple to start using. It's very easy. And then find out on the internet what is the keyboard shortcut to cut clips. So for me, on my MacBook, it is Command I, letter I. If I press Command and letter I, it's going to make a cut. And because I know what I want to keep, if I don't want the next bit that's coming, I listen to it, oh, I don't like it, I'm going to cut right before it and right after and grab it and delete it. And then you just drag by clicking on the top, you can move the parts. So you just drag the part to put it close to the other part. So it looks consistent. It looks like cohesive story. You becoming an editor of your own narrative. And that's a real life skill. Once you have the version that you like, you export it. You click on File and Export, and you save the file. You keep it safe, stored on your laptop. You can re-listen to it after some time and assess, oh yeah, this sounds like exactly what I want to remember from what happened. You've done your job. Second approach is actually video. So you take your phone, like I'm doing right now, and you make a video of yourself. Then you can use, again, free software. You can go for DaVinci Resolve. You download it, you just unpack it, use it on your laptop. You can share the file from your phone and open it in DaVinci. I'm just showing you how to do it. So follow my steps. That's where I click. This is where I go. This is how I open the file. From this moment, it is ready for editing. And to edit, there's a little icon. This is where you cut the clip. You divide what you want to leave and what not. When you make the video, you have your facial expressions. If you like it, keep it. If that's your way to capture the narrative, fine. Remember that every time you make a cut, it will, after you put a bunch of cuts together, it will be like, right? So make sure you speak for prolonged amount of time to make them look good. For me, it makes sense if you want to keep the video for yourself as how you were back then, rewriting your narrative, then it's a great souvenir, go for that one. And the least work needed, the least effort that is required to rewrite your story is actually with the use of AI. So you go on ChatGPT and you just open it brand new. That's your ChatGPT, knows your stuff that you're working through, has got tone that you like. But now it's not about having a dialogue. Now it's about you giving a prompt, and I can suggest the prompt. The prompt, for example, is this one. You are my narrative editor. The goal is help me rewrite the story I tell myself so it becomes more empowering, grounding. In the description of this video, I pasted this prompt so you can just copy paste it. If you are using ChatGPT and you're writing and you use that script or that prompt, feel free to write your heart out. And then you can ask ChatGPT to edit this initially for you and pick the best moments, the most empowering, positive moments. Or you can even ask questions about it, like what kind of learnings would you take out of it? So you can play around it, but really for editing, it should be you. You should look at your writing and decide which part you leave and which parts you don't. So I've done rewriting of my own narrative. It was a video version. I later kept it for myself. I left it for 3 weeks. I edited it. And after editing it for the first time, I still felt like I want to do another editing. I couldn't really clear it all out from the beginning. I think I needed but gradual edits. So after another week, I edited for the second time. And that was the version that made me feel proud of my past and worthy. And it was a big contrast to how I initially felt before I made the edits to my narrative. So my original narrative was not very empowering, and it was heavy, and I was living according to that. It only shows how empowering this can be to anyone who's using this technique. The most flexible and the most allowing for edits is actually writing, because when you're making the audio or video, it's very difficult to, oh yeah, I want to also add this and this. It's difficult because you have maybe certain state, voice, and you will not sound consistently exactly the same as you sounded in the first part of the recording. That's why I suggest, if you feel like there might be a lot that you want to be adding to your narrative because those memories keep coming, use writing. Use writing because it's the most forgiving. You write your narrative and then, okay, I'm going to add here this part that I've learned. So you are adding good stuff in between all the stuff. You know that you arrive to the ultimate narrative the moment you listen to it, or you read it, or you watch it, and you feel, wow, I'm proud of myself. Wow, this is really powerful. I would listen to it when I want to remind myself how good I am. Then you know you have the narrative that it's worth having in your mind. And it really affects the way you show up, the way you feel, and how you act. So it's worth doing. It's worth rewriting narratives that don't serve us that well into something that serves us fantastically. So have fun in the process, and remember, it is the process. So editing is separate from creation.